Hello there, guys. So, we are having the same problem as in many of recent videos. Black has one pawn, one step away from promotion, and we have to find some way to stop it. And of course, it's always white to move and win. So, that's what you're going to need from me, white to move and win. And you can pause the video now and see if you can find out on your own how that will happen. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. So, what are we looking at? Well, one step here away. What if we start with checking the king? The king will come to the e file, perhaps e3, I would say, attacking the rook and still threatening this. We are moving our rook away to check from behind. The problem is that black will promote with a check. So he will promote with a tempo and then he can move away his queen and he will win this. So that's not working. And I can say now also that, of course, it's enough if we manage to sacrifice either of our two pieces on this pawn. If we sacrifice the rook on the pawn, it's going to be good enough for us to win because the knight and this pawn will beat the single pawn from black. But we are not starting with rook d4 check. What about a check here on f6? Well, that's not going to give us much either. Black will move to e4 to get away from all potential knight checks. And now it seems like we cannot stop this. Of course, the pawn is guarding the e6 square. So if we grab it, it's going to be the same. Black will promote with a tempo and a check. And this is probably going to lead to a draw in the end. So the correct starting move, I think you guessed it already. It's not that hard to see. We want to have a tempo check, but most of all, we want to block this diagonal to prevent black from promoting with a check. So we're going to start ourselves with g3 check and see what happens. If black now moves away to the e file, this is easy for us. Then we move the rook perhaps to d7, allow him to promote, we give a check, and we just sacrifice the rook. And as said, this will be enough to win later on. But of course, black is not going to walk away to the e file with his king. No, he's going to choose either f3 or f5. Let's look what happens if it goes to f3. Again, if you want to pause the video now and have another look, go ahead. Okay, here we go. So what we're doing, we're going to check on d3. If black comes up here, then we will go back to d7 and same as before. And if he instead goes down to the second rank, we will simply play rook d2, pinning this pawn and just sacrificing the rook on it in the next sequence. And again, the knight will be enough to win because we will grab this pawn and this will promote. Okay, so it's a little bit harder if he moves up to f5. Here again, if you want to pause the video, go ahead. Okay, here we go. Now we do the same. We check with the rook, and of course, if it goes here, it's easy. We go up here, and then we're gonna check and take the pawn on e2 or e1 if it's promoted. What happens if we place the king to f6 instead? It's not that hard to see either. We check on d7 with a knight, get that one involved, and wherever he moves his king to g6, g7, or perhaps e6, we just move our rook to e5 because now it's guarded by the knight. So we check, and of course this is an easy victory. What's a little bit harder to see is what happens if he plays to e6 with the king. That's not totally obvious on how we are winning for white. So now is your last chance to post the video again. If you haven't seen the solution, you can have another go at this position. All right. So we cannot go down here. We cannot check. We have to do something else. And we start with rook d8, threatening to come to e8 with a check. Obvious response for black is to move this king to e7, and what happens then? Well, then we have to be creative, and we are doing that by playing rook to d3. That's a beautiful rook move. We are threatening e3 check. Black will promote, and we go here anyway. Check. We lose our king, our rook, and we finish off with a nice little fork here with a check. And we grab this, and again, this is not going to win for black. We are just gonna simply take this or something like this, and we are winning. So that's how we solve this from the beginning with a check, moves up, showing the main variation like this, and the beautiful move of rook d3 with a sham sacrifice, and we follow up with a fork, and black will resign after this, I think. All right, thank you for watching this video. See you again tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye bye.